Hey everyone, it's that time of year again, and this is where I make my yearly predictions for what's going to happen in the real estate market and to go over what happened in the previous year, or in 2024. So, heading back 2 years, I was only 1 for 3 on my predictions back in 2023. This year I did slightly better, so that is good news. Yeah, so let's get into what happened last year, my predictions for last year and for the 2024 real estate market, and then we'll hit what I believe is going to happen in 2025. So first things first, I took a pretty broad swipe at where I thought interest rates would go. And anywhere from the mid fives to about the low sevens was kind of my prediction on that one. And that's, they were within that range the whole time. They never got into the fives, so I guess I was off on the low end, but definitely and currently are in the low sevens right now. They got as low as the low sixes a couple months ago, but have increased since. So I would say I was halfway right on that one, but I did think they would average about the mid sixes, and that's pretty much where they were. So thought about there would be about 2 to 3% appreciation, depending on what source you look at. Some sites or areas have the Denver metro area depreciated by just a hair, less than 1%, and then others have it appreciating up to 5%. So call it in the middle there, 2 to 3% appreciation. That's probably about right from what I've seen in most areas in the Denver area, and kind of what those would average out to be if you took those two numbers in the middle. So inventory increases. So this one definitely got right. So we got as much inventory as we've had since like 2012. So which was coming out of the tail end of the recession and the great housing crisis of 2008, 9, 10, and 11. So inventory definitely peaked for the Denver metro area. It's kind of a welcome sign, to be honest with you, just because buyers had so little choice for so long that they actually have some choices now, almost too many in some areas and price points, because it's hard for them to make a decision sometimes. But welcome change there. So I would say I was about right on 2 of the 3, or 2.5 of the 3, I guess, if you want to count that first one, interest rates being about where they ended up. But so yeah, much better than 2023 predictions, but let's see how we do in 2025. So how's the predictions for 2025? So, prior to getting in or being in real estate, I've never really had to follow interest rates to the degree that I've had to the past few years. One, because they've held pretty steady, and two, it's just something as an agent you don't follow as closely as a mortgage broker or a lender or someone in that field. But as I've learned more and more, the frank reality of interest rates is no one knows or has any clue where interest rates are going. The people that you follow that nailed it, for 6 months end up being wrong the next 6 months. There's just too much. I guess there's just too many factors that sway interest rates, the short-term interest rates. Case in point, the Fed has cut interest rates by 1% since October, September, October timeframe, and mortgage rates have actually gone up by basically 1% since then. So they don't directly correlate, which, when I first started, I assumed they did, like most people. But short-term lending is very different than the 10-year bond, which is generally what mortgage rates are tied to. So anyway, long story short, I don't foresee rates getting to the fives this year. When the rates got to the low sixes, we saw a big uptick in activity in mortgage applications. So if we can just get rates to stabilize a little bit and stop swinging a full percent in such a short period of time, will really allow people to make decisions and have a more confidence knowing where rates will be, in 2 to 3 months versus then jumping from low sixes to high sevens to mid sixes, back to high sevens, back down to low mid sixes. It's hard for people to make a decision when rates fluctuate that much in such a short period of time. So with that being said, interest rates prediction is I think they'll end up in the 6.5 to 6.75 range on average throughout the year. Hopefully they get a little bit lower than that, but I guess we will see. So second prediction is there will be an uptick in transactions. So we are, I'm predicting by roughly 10%. So we close right around, or we will close around 35,000 homes in the Denver metro area. I'm guessing we'll be around 39,000 closed transactions in 2025. So let's see, we're down 20% in transactions between 2023 and 2024. Lower than we were in 2022. So essentially, we've dropped by 20% and almost by 33%. So by a whole third compared to 2021's transactions that year. So we've seen a pretty, big drop in transactions. Kind of like we talked about in previous videos, transactions are kind of what cratered, not prices. But as inventory increases, if it continues to increase and if there's not a huge buyer demand, maybe prices do eventually follow. But so far, we've not seen that in a large way in most price points. So, and then my final prediction is 2025 will have appreciation slightly higher than this year. So I think somewhere in the 3 to 5%. I do believe, based on kind of the past, honestly, since early November, that I think buyers are just becoming more. Have just come to the realization that interest rates aren't dropping. So if they're going to buy a house that you like and move into it, and in long term you'll be great, assuming you can make those payments in a comfortable manner and you're not extending yourself too far. And I think more people are coming to that realization. The pain points of living in maybe a 2-bedroom home with a third kid is outweighing the cost for a lot of people. And I think with mortgage applications and kind of the signs of where buyers are going, it seems as though we're starting to see a little uptick in activity, even though rates have actually increased over the past couple of months. So that's been something to keep an eye on. The other reason I think we're going to appreciate is because we continue to have population growth. So, obviously, again, simple supply and demand, something I hit on every year. More demand you have, if it outpaces supply, you generally have prices that increase. So those are my predictions for 2025. We'll see if I can go for 3 for 3. Probably not, but you never know. So hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, if you have any questions, please reach out. Have a great year. Talk soon.